Macron about an issue in DRC. Probably you're part of the problem. Do you agree with that?
Well, I think that was not a very well calculated post. The conversation may have happened, and if it did, towards peace, that is fine. But I don't think that was something to come out and pronounce ourselves on as Kenyans. Because one, remember, the French have had a lot of interest in Congo. The whole mining industry and many other operations down there run by the French. And it is the same French operations that some of the militias want out of Congo. So when we come out as Kenya and say we've spoken with the oppressor, it will not sit well. So, you know, when you're seeking peace, one of the most diplomatic and sensitive thing to observe is any statement that you make, because it can easily trigger emotions. And remember, this when it comes to terms of war, emotions run very high. And whenever there is suspect, whenever there is mistrust, then nobody is going to be willing to be part of your process. And now Kenya being a chair in terms of a country, it puts us in a very awkward position whereby we must be very impartial. We must be willing to make sure that any party that is coming on the table, whether it is the Rwandese, whether it is the Congolese, whether it is the Ugandan parties coming to negotiate, they feel that we are already giving them a clean slate for everybody to come and be listened to and find a solution. But when already you are seeming, especially now, to speak to foreign agencies that are known to perpetrate and perpetuate not just war, but also exploitation and extortion in Africa, it really doesn't look very well.
Njogu Barua, do you see some naivety in terms of Kenya's diplomatic moves? We've been accused for the past 2 years of having very many diplomatic accidents or mishaps, if I may call them that. Do you think that's what we are suffering from now?
I think that could be it. Could be because what I think is that what the post by the president that he had a discussion with Macron was actually ill-timed. It should not have been released because Kenya is supposed to be a neutral party in the peace negotiations. So what I can say is that the president, being the chair, can talk to as many parties as possible to ensure that he succeeds or Kenya succeeds in its mission. But whatever they are doing in the back office must not necessarily be put in the social media or the mainstream media because it could compromise the intended outcomes. In this case, you have got three parties. No, you have got two parties. That's the Kinshasa side and the rebels. Kinshasa is the government. So the government of Kinshasa has a direct communication mechanism with the government of Kenya and the government of France. By M23 rebels, I don't think they have got that avenue to talk officially with the government of France or the government of Kenya. So that's one thing President Ruto would have actually considered, that if he makes that an announcement, it would just make Kenya look as a suspect, as if he's taking sides. Number two, a time has come, I think we are 60 years into independence as Africa, and in fact this country is producing one of the candidates for the African Union. And the last debate which I had, one of the key issues was conflict resolution. Is the new African Union Commission chairperson going to be able to spearhead peace initiatives in Africa? Before we go to the foreign people, the foreign masters, our former colonizers, I think